my Illustrator CS6. I haven't done that yet, and we will look at the typography section and layers. Now your chapters 7 and 8, 7 specifically deals with type and 8 with layers. So those are the ones you have to finish if you haven't done 6. And they are actually pretty quick. Chapter 8, it might be the longest of them all, but actually no, 7. 8 is pretty short, and they will be relatively shorter when we do so. Okay, I get this message, I just have to click OK. So how many of you, for those who used Illustrator, any of you actually used it, the text tool, the type tool? Okay. Did you know that by default, in any program, your type is vector? And how can you tell if your type is vector? Have you tried it 72 points? How does it look like?
Same.
Exactly. So your type is vector. So whatever you use, your type becomes vector type. So I'm going to start a new document. And this is just, again, this is just an example. You're not going to do this. I will go specifically over assignment, but this is just overview. So now for the type itself, you have several places to get type. Now keep in mind that when you're working with the type tool in Illustrator, it's not the same in Photoshop. Illustrator is more advanced and gives you more options manipulating type, where you don't have the same option with Photoshop. Okay. So under the T is the shortcut. So just remember T for type. And it actually makes sense, right? You have different options for the type. So if you notice here, we have the type tool, which is just general typing like you have even in Word. Then we have area type tool, which types within a shape, and it has to be a simple shape. It doesn't work well with compound shapes. I have problems working with that. Then it can be drawn on a path. So all of those, the top 3 are horizontal location. And then the bottom, the 3 next, they're vertical. So the same thing is just gone vertically. So I'm going to show you what that means. So if I do just the type tool, not by default, and you should have this option right here. You can see character, paragraph. It should also tell you when you click and start putting type. Let's say DIGM 2350. I'm going to be kind of boring here. And I'm going to zoom in so we can see. Let's move that. Right. You can see that, right? Now I'm going to make changes in a minute. Notice by default, this section here on top, you get few options, right? You get the opacity option, which is the same thing as you get for your objects. Now, one thing here is the character. So this is your type. So your typeface, you can call it font, really the name is typeface. So by default, it's going to be Myriad, and I think it's a default for all Adobe ones, so it's probably the most, for me, my most hated one. Additionally to Verdana, because I've seen it on the web all the time. So we're going to change it. Now notice here, it's like you're trying to change it and you cannot see what it is. I hate that, because you want to know, right? Now you can actually set it up, you can see it. But I'm going to do noteworthy. So there's my note. And then I'm going to do, sometimes type has bold or light. And then our size, which is standard. Okay? But you notice here, I don't even see the font. Or really a typeface. Other class, you're going to know the difference. So what I'm going to do is open up another options for type under Window. And you have type. Okay? There are several options here. You have character. Okay, character is kind of the same thing as you want to change the character, the look of your type. Now, character styles, it's something that you save to use repetitively if you have a block of text. So you save that so you don't have to go back and change individually. And then paragraph and so on. So I'm going to do, notice the shortcuts. Okay, so we have Command T for character. So I open it up. Look at those options. Do they look familiar? The ones on top? And there's some other ones. You see that? Now click on the side, look at this. Now you can see exactly how the type will look like, and I like it better. Okay, so this is the best option to use. Now there are other things with type. Here we have the size. Here, do not call it leading. If you do, I'm not gonna. It's leading. It comes from lead. Physically, in the past, they put piece of lead between uppercase and lowercase between type, because they had to cast the type by itself. So it's so it's leading, not leading. Okay, we're not leading anybody. We're leading. Right? Just know the terminology. Comes from lead, not lead. Then that means a space between types. So let me show you how that works, and that is standard for all Adobe. So let me show you. So if I select those two and I change, and you can type in a number, but let's see if I make it 60. You see the difference? So it is a space between two lines of text or more, depending how many you select. All right. Now that doesn't look good. I'm gonna undo. Now next two options, another terminology for you to learn is kerning, and then is tracking. Kerning means space between individual letters, and in the logo design, this is very important to adjust the space, because when you type sometimes something, or even in type, you can notice that some letters are closer and some are not as close. So let me show you what kerning will do. Look at the selected LO, and now I'm gonna do, oh, it doesn't like me. I guess it doesn't like this type. Maybe I need to do more. Let me do all of them. No, I guess I'll have to change my type. Sometimes it does that. Just look at the font that you're using. So let me show you what it does with tracking. Tracking is doing the space between words. Kerning is between letters or numbers, characters. And tracking is between words. So let's see if that one works. Yeah, it does. So let's see. If I reduce the space, you see? I've condensed the letters and the words. You can see that? Now you can do it individually. Let's say I want 23 to have more space. Again, you can just use the preset, or you can type in it. So there we are. We have a little space. Okay? Do you notice how I did it for all of them, kind of thing? Because we selected two. So if you want just one, see the difference, right? So it's always good to manipulate it. Now one thing is here, so that is your options. Other option, and you also have it under window type, but it's also by default, it should show up right with character. It should paragraph. And you've seen this before, right? Does it look familiar? It's all your alignments. Okay. Now, left indent, right indent, first line, space. Actually, this is the space before paragraph, space after. Now, I hate hyphenations. Any program that you use, when a book hyphenates, I'm like losing my track. I hate it. So I always do uncheck. That's my default setting. So those are the rules when it comes to your, those are just the overview when it comes to your settings. And now paragraph obviously works well when you have a lot of text as well, and you can use that. All right, so the next thing with type, let me show you how the area tool and the type on area works. So let me draw a shape, and we're gonna do ellipse. Okay, I'm gonna do ellipse. Now it doesn't matter what color your shape is. Important thing, you need to remember this. Once I use a type tool on this, it is no longer a shape. It becomes part of the type tool. So for some reason, if you're designing a logo and it's important for you to use this shape, maybe have it some color on it, you would have to duplicate it. Okay? Because it becomes part of the type. So let me show you what happens, if even whatever color I have it. So let me choose my type tool. So T, remember, and now you have area type tool, and let me type inside it. Now it's kind of big type, so I'm just going to select it all, Command A. Go to my character and change that to 12 so you can see. Help. That came out randomly. because this is Polish. Yep. No, it's not. I know. Yeah. But they don't know. Okay, so you notice how it became, if typing in an area, so you notice how it became part of that shape? So it's no longer, I mean, if you color this in, it's just going to color your text. I mean, it's not going to look right. So this is the area, okay? Now you can do the same thing vertically. So if I go back to my type tool, hold down, and do vertical area type, same thing, just vertically. You see? All right. Now, another area you can do it as a shape as well, and then we're going to do another circle. What I'm going to do is the type on a path tool. So again, this becomes part of the shape. So let's see what I'm doing here. I'm just typing. So it goes around it.
How was this again?
This was type on a path under type. Okay. Now I want you to see this. This is important. Let's say for some reason I want this type to flip inside the circle, not outside. Or I want to move it. I don't like where I started it. I put the insertion point, wrong point. Then you want to go back to your direct selection tool. What's the shortcut?
A.
Yes, A is for awesome. There you go. Seen the logo movie. If you haven't, you're missing out. Okay. So notice now, I saw the wrong tool. I think I selected A. Oh, undo. Too many undos. If you do this.
Yeah, I think you have to don't you have to select?
I'm going to draw that again.
Use the toolbar and select to get out of the texting part.
Actually, no. I'm going to show in a minute. I just undid too many times. I was just holding my undo in there. So let me go back to it. I'm going to do this one. Right, so I'm typing on it. Now, if you click A, you have to click outside of it. Okay. Now notice those little handles. You see that? Those little handles here? There are two of them. You need to figure out how they go. So you need to click on them. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't let me select it. Okay. I'm trying to. My tool somehow is freezing, this tool. So let me see if I can do it. There. You see that? There are three handles now. You see that? That's important. I'm moving them so I can see. I'm like, now obviously now everything disappeared. And the reason why it's not fitting in that circle. Right? So it's telling you, if you see the red on the side with anything related to text, it's telling you there's more text. And it's not showing because I moved it and I didn't give it enough space. So I can go ahead and go into it and like delete something so you can see better. But notice this, I'm moving the type. I thought I was. It's really, yeah, we're going to speak some Polish in a minute. Please don't record me. I'm recording myself. I'm going to get in trouble. Better be careful. Oh, come on. I just need to select you. It's actually easier than this. I just, for some reason, it's really picky right now. But anyway, you saw how I did that when I moved it originally. You saw three handles. And I have no idea why right now it's acting. But notice this. Those are the two here. This indicates the end and the beginning of your text. And then there's another one, like right in the middle here. And this can be positioned different place. This is where you can flip your text. If I can select it, I could do it. Okay. There's another. Okay, delete. There. See, look at that. I just dragged it and I flipped it. And now I can move it outside, inside. See?
It just depends on where you move those handles.
Right, it has to be that middle one. You need to know which handle. Because there's beginning handle, ending, and there's the one middle. That's why, like my words, I'm going to put more space in it. So notice if I move this, if it lets me, okay, delete. Oh, no, that. So this one, you see beginning and ending. You need to have that middle one. This is the one that's going to make the difference. Okay. So we flipped it outside now. It's just practice. Now, what's cool about this the Path tool, is I can draw anything. I can do a paint or a pencil. I can draw something like that. And guess what? I can type right on it. So it will conform to whatever you are, what shape you draw. Isn't that cool? So it allows you to do so. Now with this one, now let's see if we can see the handles on this one. You see how beginning, end, and you see the middle handle? Okay, kind of. Okay, so those, I can flip the middle and flip it. Just drag it and flip. Okay, that is the beginning one, or the end one actually in this case. So flip it back, right? So that's the area tool. Those are some cool things you can do with time.